Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Vartida Learning Platform, and in this series of tips and tricks in C++, today we are going to discuss about a very famous problem which is known as the diamond problem, and this is again related to the virtual functions and the virtual concept. Okay, so first of all, let's understand what is the problem which comes up and known as diamond problem. Okay, suppose you have a base class. This is your base class. Suppose the name is base, and you have a public function. Suppose test func. Okay, test function is the function name, and you derived two classes from it. There are two classes which have been derived from it. First is derived 1, and the second one is derived 2. Okay, these are the two classes which have been derived from it. Okay, now I again derive one more class from these two classes. So here I have done multiple inheritance. Okay, up to this level, I'm following the principle of multiple inheritance because I'm deriving number of classes from a single class. But here, I'm going to derive one more class from these two classes, derived 1 and derived 2. So at this point of time, I'm going with multiple inheritance. Let me correct it. This is multi-level. Okay, this is multi-level inheritance and this is multiple inheritance, where number of classes I'm using to derive one more class. So here I'm just creating one more class. The name is test derived. Okay, now let us understand one concept. You have this function test function. Okay, when you will create an object of test derived, suppose you create an object of test derived, then this test derived has derived 1 and derived 2. Since it is deriving both derived 1 and derived 2, and derived 1 and derived 2 both will contain the copy of this function, test function. They both will contain the copy of this function, test func. Here it will be and here also it will be. Okay. Now, when you create an object of test func, say t, and suppose you call the function t.testfunc, do you think it will work fine? If your answer is yes, then this is wrong. Your answer is wrong. If in case your answer is yes, then your answer is wrong. Why? Because both derived 1 and derived 2 will have a copy of test function here. Okay, and when through the test derived class, test derived, here I have written the wrong name. Let me just rewrite it again. I'm just creating a function test, just creating an object test derived d1, and from d1 I'm calling this function test func. So do you think this will call it correctly? No, it will not call. Why? Because both derived 1 and derived 2 have a copy of test func. Okay, and through the test derived, when you will call this function, then it will not be able to decide that which version or which sub object's test function it should be called. So there will be an ambiguity. An ambiguity to call test func will come up. Okay, test func will be coming up, right? So since test func is causing a sub-object problem where it is the program is not able to decide that which test func version should be called derived 1 or derived 2. So this kind of problem is known as the diamond problem. Okay, and in this case, when you will create the test derived object from the derived 1 and derived 2, two sub objects of the base class will be created, because when you will call the constructor of test derived, then first of all the base class constructor will be called, then derived class constructor will be called, and then your test derived constructor will be called. Okay, and then since you are inheriting from dir2 as well, so when the dir2 object will be created, then again it will call the base class constructor, then the derived2 class constructor will be called, and then at the end this test derived function will be called. Sorry, this test derived constructor will be called. So when you will do the multiple inheritance, what will be the sequence of calling the constructors? Sequence will be like first first base constructor will be called, second derived 1 constructor will be called, third base constructor will be called, and then derived 2 constructor will again be called, and then test derived constructor will be called. This will be the sequence. And here you can see like there is a problem. Base class constructor will be called twice. And this is the problem because there will be two sub objects, one for derived 1 and the other one for derived 2. And both the derived 1 and derived 2 will contain the copy of the function that base class contains, which is test func. And that is why when you will call this test func through the test derived class d1 object, then in that case it will not be able to decide which function it should call. Should it call which have been inherited through derived 1, or should it call which has been inherited through the derived 2? So this will be the problem, and this problem is known as the diamond problem. And in the next video we will see with the code example how we can fix it and how we can create the scenario for diamond problem in the code. So till then, have a nice day and bye bye.